WCLN 1170 Radio and Cable Channel 16 are pleased to present We Should Know, hosted by J.W. Simmons, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative as we consider closely what we should know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on the air. We're coming to you from Star Communications TV Channel 16 and 316, simulcast on WCLN Radio. We're talking about some exciting things that's coming up. We're talking with Ray Jordan, the Executive Director of the Sampson County Expo Center and also Assistant Director of Sampson County Economic Development. Ray, thank you for being with us today.
JW, thank you for having us back.
Darrell Jones, you've been around for a while. A lot of folks just know your name because you're like some of the other folks that we hang around with. They retired some time ago, but you've been instrumental in supporting, and not only verbally, but physically, Live After 5. And we're going to be talking about that today. And the interesting thing, guys, when I talk about Live After 5, it just hits me, and it struck me as we were talking a while ago. This is something that's developed a history. It's over a decade, Ray. How long are we talking about here?
So, JW, the Live After 5 concert series was established 13 years ago, and obviously we skipped a year for COVID.
Wow.
But we have presented 12 seasons. This will be the 13th season, or the 13th series of concerts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you skip a year, it might just throw you off.
It does. COVID done everything like that.
It messed it up. But anyway, it's been presented for... this season will be the 13th season, and the Live After 5 concept is a partnership or collaboration, might be a better word, between the City of Clinton, the Sampson Arts Council, and the Sampson County.
And Darrell, you kind of got brought on board 9-10 years ago with this thing, didn't you?
That's correct. I had someone to volunteer me to come on board, and I've always been about the community. Mm-hmm. And the City of Clinton and the Sampson County have been so supportive of Live After 5. The people come out in droves. They seem to enjoy the free show that we provide. And I think it's about 9 to 10 years I've been a part of it, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
For several of those years, I'm going to give you another title too. You've been the stage announcer.
This is true, because Ray wouldn't do it.
So you literally get to see the crowd from the perspective of the stage looking out.
Yes, and it's amazing. It's a huge social event. People are standing around talking, laughing. Children are there. They are dancing. They're playing with other kids. They just seem to really enjoy it, and it's amazing to just a number of people that do show up. I think at one of our events that we estimate, we had about 1,500 people there.
Wow.
And so we were very proud of that, and everybody seemed to have a great time.
Ray, the location is something that's always been kind of interesting. You mentioned the City of Clinton has been a huge partner in this, but the city market area, that's been a great location and a good stage area, but I've often heard you mention that you would like to have kind of an amphitheater setting somewhere. Kind of give us some ideas of where you see this thing maybe going.
You know, JW, a lot of communities across North Carolina and the nation for that matter have amphitheaters for concerts within their communities. And the city market does provide a good spot. It's centrally located. There's good parking access. The one downside to it is it's an asphalt parking lot, and it does get hot. Mm-hmm, that's one reason we're skipping July and August this year, because the temperature was so hot on that asphalt. And then the other thing is creating a space that can not only be used for Live After 5, but potentially future events that could come in that would be ticketed events. Or rental events to where you rent the venue out. Mm-hmm. So it can become an economic driver within your community of having such a space or an exhibit space. Plus you have the benefit of a permanent stage. And our friend James Sargent, who we rent our stage from, bless the guy's heart, he's not been raised our prices in several years, and even with the high cost of fuel. But it still is expensive. Part of our process is just the stage rental and all associated with getting it together and breaking it down at the end of the night. So having a permanent stage where it's more covered, well covered, it's got better theatrical type lighting to light your artists on stage, there could be tremendous benefit. And that's a goal of mine before I retire, is that hopefully that we can generate the interest community-wide to build something somewhere and potentially have it in an area where you could basically come back and have something in the lines of an old county fair or other type activities, car shows and things like that. A big space, I tend to think big sometimes, and I'd love to see us find 40 or 50 acres somewhere that could be developed into a venue for live concerts outdoor.
So that could be somewhere in proximity of the city limits or some location in a 40 or 50 acres is pretty good. So you're probably not going to find that inside the city limits, I wouldn't think. But to be somewhere in the area, and then it would be kind of ideal for that to drive in and everything's there. You got the room you need, and again, it takes care of what appears to be an ongoing battle with heat anyways, climate change fixes.
And Jay, one thing is that that for a lot of promoters, and there's, I don't want to name on stage, but on our show, but there seems to be a magic number for getting tours that come through, and that number is 4,000. Being able to have a capacity of 4,000, that number tends to get you in an arena of artists that are traveling up and down the East Coast, where you can sometimes last minute book a show, and there's other venues that are doing it up in North Carolina. So you might be able to present someone that's, for example, like some of these new artists are out, like Lainey Wilson, some of these folks, their minimum because of where they are in their career is about 4,000. It makes it work financially. So there's opportunity there, and those things really draw people to your community, and they're willing to pay the ticket prices, for it, and it can become a profit center for it, over time. But again, that's a big dream, and I hope that we can do it. And my goal would be to try to do it without having to be part of any type of county government, anything where it could be privately funded. So that it's just not the taxpayers don't have to feel like it's something that they're subsidizing. And that's done across the state.
And I'm glad you had that on the end, because there's a lot of should I say bristling going on when folks start talking about the government doing something. They think, oh my gosh, another tax thing or something. And so I'm glad you tied that to it. Darrell, I know you've been traveling a lot since you've retired, and you've been all over the country and so forth. Do you see this kind of event in other places you go, and is this something somewhat unique, or is other places doing these kinds of things?
Other places are doing it. We went to Hendersonville and last year, and we just happened to come in on a Friday night, and they had a downtown event. They actually had a stage, as what Ray would like to have in a permanent location, but there are other places that are doing just like us. Goldsboro does it, and they've got a stage in an open area, but it's grassy area too, so it's not heated asphalt. But across the state, you can see where people are coming up with these ideas to have these outdoor concerts. A friend of ours lives in Florence, South Carolina. They have the same venue that we have, pretty much the same artists that we have, and so it's a common thing. And what we have found that we got to do, or Ray has to do, is that we can't, once the season's over with, we have to start pretty much immediately booking for next year, because these groups are in such demand. And if you don't get them when they're available, when we need them, then you have to take what you can get. But it's a very popular event now for towns, cities to put on. Even up in Raleigh, North Hills, they have it at North Hills. Same thing. They may have the Band of Oz up there. So it's all throughout the state, and people are really catching on to hey, this is a good place to go and have a good time and see a free concert.
And Jay, one of the things that we hear too is that we often get a lot of folks from out of the county that come, and when you happen to run into them and meet them, one of the things that you hear is that, well, why are you here versus going to North Hills? they don't want to battle 8,000 people
Right.
for a concert. So we do get quite a bit of travel that comes in. And, and oftentimes, those folks will hit a restaurant or something before or after. And there's been many cases where they come in, and even with our bands, and they're staying in our local hotels, which is contributing to the economy.
That's interesting too, because I think about when you just said that, I was thinking about you also have your foot, as I introduced you, into the area of economic development. So what I hear you saying, there is a crossover, not only to support business, but it does add value as far as economic development to there.
That's correct. Well, the bigger picture is it creates a quality of life or aspect that where you have entertainment opportunities when, for example, the hospital and the medical clinic and these others, they're constantly trying to recruit doctors and things in town. And our industries are trying to recruit workers and professional workers and engineers and those things. And those folks are looking at, they look at your schools, they look at what you have to offer as far as community amenities, and then what is the art scene, what kind of things can I do with my family. So all these things are important to them, and in their decision where they might land. So the Alive After 5, as we present this, it's all funded through private donations from. I think there was 107 sponsors last year, Darrell.
Yeah.
And so 107 individuals and businesses and corporations care enough and believe in enough to do it.
We're going to take a break coming up here right quick, just a few seconds, but I want to try to segue this into the next segment and talk a little bit about those sponsors, those people that support it. And Darrell, I'll let you speak to some of that as well, but look at the huge number of folks that are just individuals that say, I want to contribute to this. I mean, it's free to the community, but as you pointed out, Ray, folks have to understand that the bulk of this is not coming out of the taxpayer's pocket, zero out of taxpayer dollars. So that's very important and probably innovative in a way of thinking about how we do things that benefit the public. It does not always have to come from the taxpayer's base. So as we go to break, we'll kind of put that on schedule for the next segment. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned, call a friend. We're talking about some exciting things. It's going to be happening in Clinton yet again this year. Live After 5. We'll be back in a moment.
You're out for an evening on the town. Finally a chance to relax and forget that you left your front door completely unlocked. Fortunately, you just installed a security system from Star Communications. With just your cell phone, you can check on your house, lock it down, light it up, and get back to relaxing.
You forgot to put Buster in his crate.
Unfortunately, we can't help with that. Security and automation from Star Communications. Call today to find out more.
Most aging adults want to stay in their homes as long as possible. And as your loved ones get older, you want to support them, even when you can't be there. Star is proud to offer Star Alert. This new system is now mobile and has GPS compatibility, so your loved ones can live their lives and you can have peace of mind, knowing they can get the help they need with just the simple push of a button. The new Star Alert also offers automatic fall detection, so help will be alerted even if they can't press the button. Call and ask about Star Alert today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thanks for being with us. We Should Know is on there. I'm J.W. Simmons, your host. We're talking with Darrell Jones and we're talking with Ray Jordan. Darrell, you've been on this committee we've been talking about for 9 or 10 years, literally not only promoting Live After 5, but doing a lot of the legwork. I also gave you a new title as the stage announcer. But the reality is it takes an effort on everybody to make sure we're reaching the people that need to be reached. And some of those is those major donors, and the other folks are just individual donations we get.
That's very true. It's zero tax dollars to come to this event. We depend on our sponsors to come out every year and support us, and it's been great. Ever since I've been a part of the Live After 5 committee, we have sponsors that have been with us every year, and they contribute quite heavily. And plus, they have their displays out there with the vendor displays. What's amazing to me too is the number of individuals, a family or just a couple, they will come out and donate to you. Last year, after we had gotten all our sponsorships in, we had people come to the event and say, I want to sponsor. What do I have to do to be a sponsor? Mm-hmm. And we had a number of people to do that, and it's like, well, we're going to pick you up this year.
Yeah.
So we've already got those names on our list. We're going to send them the packets. And so our sponsors have been fantastic. We picked up a dental office last year, and their group came out, and they had their tent set up, and they just had a really, really good time. And that's what it's all about. Is to go out and have a good time to a good family event. But I don't think the people understand how much the local businesses contribute to. That's the reason I always point out to the board that we had there with all our sponsors' names on it, with the corporate sponsors, local businesses, as well as individuals. So if anyone wants to be a sponsor, you don't have to be in a business. You can be a private individual, and you can come out or go see Ray or call me, and we'll get you a packet of information, and we would love to have you.
And JW, our sponsor levels begin at $250. It's $250, $500, $1,000, $2,500, $5,000, and we've got them in every range. We do have sponsors that do in-kind sponsorship that exceed $10,000, and so those in-kind that people don't think about. For example, our sponsors reception last year was donated by Zell's Catering. They catered 4 out of the 5 events that we did last year, in Southern Smoke out of Garland donated the food to the other. Well, they were prepared to feed 400 people for, so you figure 400 times 5 events, 2,000 people.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of if we had to buy it, but they're actually donating it as their sponsorship.
Actually, you can come out better getting them to do that in-kind thing.
And we can't ever thank them enough for all they do, because it was certainly, it would prevent us from doing that to that scale. I mean, people came out last year, and it was Darrell, they were eating supper. I would say they were grazing. That might be the best word. Had a great
lot
time.
of compliments on
it was
the
very
food
good.
and the vendor.
And,
it was very good.
Then we have the food trucks out that come out. So Mr. Ingram's been with us ever since the first year. And everybody loves his funnel cakes and his pork skins.
Yeah.
So those vendors are selling their products and generating some revenue for themselves. They're donating on the other side. And then our corporate sponsors, we have quite a few at $5,000 and $2,500, and we couldn't do it without them. But to your point, where we began the conversation, a $250 sponsorship is just as important to us as a $1,000 sponsorship. The benefit levels are a little bit differently in what they receive, but it's still a good value for your money. I mean, last year, $250 got you into 5 concerts, 2 people, 2 T-shirts, receptions for 10 tickets. I mean, there's a lot of value in what they receive from that sponsorship.
Well, and Darrell, one of the things that you alluded to a while ago, and being part of the committee for years, you get to connect with a lot of people, but it also puts folks that sometimes don't know they need to know somebody, but they'll run into either a vendor or somebody else. And I've actually heard people go, well, I was going to call your company, and now I'm standing here talking to the person I needed to talk to in person. So you get to do, it's kind of like on the golf course. Sometimes you get to do business on the golf course before you tee off.
Yep.
Exactly. It's more relaxed atmosphere out there, and everybody's enjoying themselves, listening to the music and socializing. What really gets me is I don't think some of the people understand that, especially the corporations, these larger businesses, the employees fight over the tickets because a corporation may get 10 tickets. Well, you may see one employee out at one of the concerts, and the next one there's another employee. And how'd you get your ticket? Well, I got in a lottery drawing to get these tickets. They're very popular, and it's a great way to reward employees for what they do for their business.
I think an example to that, Ray, is I've seen this almost every year that car dealerships will have their vehicles out there. I mean, what better way to sell a vehicle at one time than to have 1,500 people come by and take a look at it?
That's right. And there's many opportunities, and that's one thing that I always enjoy watching, is seeing the vendors that are there interact with the public, and you get that one-on-one. They're not there selling. They're there marketing their business. We really don't promote sales. We don't become a flea market, so to speak. And our sponsors and vendors are not. But that time to meet someone, to know who to, when you walk into an office, that friendly face that you can call upon. And I apologize for my voice. It's been terrible today.
But we're not going to ask you to sing this time.
Glad.
Maybe next time, but we'll kind of go from there. Darrell, kind of segueing back to a lot of what you do. One of the things I've observed that you do a lot is that I see you doing exactly what Ray's talking about. You're talking to a lot of these folks when they're coming in. You're connecting with them. You're letting them know if they need anything and all that kind of stuff. Is it also a way that we show this sense of cordiality with the people in Sampson County and Clinton, because there's a number of folks that come in from out of the county?
Yeah.
This is very true. I do a lot of talking. Some people say I'm politicking, but that's no.
But you ain't running for nothing.
No, I couldn't run for the dog catcher. But as it is, I like to talk to people and find out what's on their mind. Do they like the band? Do they like the vendors? And they'll tell me different things. Music's too loud, or it's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's enjoying themselves, and it's a great, again, I keep repeating myself, but it's true. It's a very great social event.
And JW, the thing that we haven't said is free to the public.
Yeah, and I think that's the amazing part, is that if you do happen to be watching this, or you pick up on it, whether it's on one of our TV channels, or whether it's on WCLN, or whether it's on YouTube, of course, this show is uploaded to social media platforms, there's no charge. Somebody's coming through town, all they got to do is look at the date and come in with their lawn chair as they do and sit down and enjoy themselves with the entertainment. And having said that, it takes me to the next observation here. There's certain things that folks need to not consider doing as far as items they bring. I think it's good to touch on that.
So there's basically about only three things we don't want, is that we encourage folks to leave their pets at home. We are pet friendly, but we find that pets are better suited at home with the loud music, and just to avoid any instance for somebody that might bring one. Also, there's no outside alcohol can be brought in, or coolers. But JW, for 12 seasons, we've never had an incident, and knock on wood, that's a good record. Our insurance actually came down a little bit, so because of our history, and we've got good police presence, and they're not overbearing with anyone, and it's just a very good, friendly, family-friendly atmosphere. And but pets and outside alcohol are not permitted. And we do have a beer garden that we offer beer and wine, and we encourage folks to support that, and they can drink that on site within the bounds of the city market.
And a lot of what you just mentioned is not necessarily a regulation of the committee, but it's a legal requirement.
Town ordinance, correct.
And I think sometimes these things, they look at it and go, well, why can't I do this or do that? And some of it, or probably a huge portion of it, is just simply a safety issue.
Yeah, we want everyone to come out and have a great time, be safe. We work hard to make sure that the area is safe. The most common question I get is, why don't you have a bounce house for kids? Well, I can tell you, every time I talk to insurance company about that, they're like, Ray Jordan, have you lost your mind? But if we can find a vendor that would like to do that, and we'll cover the insurance for to cover that, we'll do that. But we have found that our insurance company does not. They don't like bounce houses very much for the safety aspect. But we had one at the very first season, and we didn't have any incidents, but we didn't know we weren't supposed to have it when we had it. So,
well, it's got a long history of doing the kinds of things that I believe folks are looking for now, Darrell. And I think you're a grandfather like many of us, and I've seen your grandchildren out there, and they've enjoyed it. So there's something here close by. And the other thing that strikes me, it's been beneficial for folks, especially since and after this episode of COVID, where everybody was kind of shoved together and we had to postpone a couple of times because of COVID. But this has been a real kind of social, psychological plus for people to come back together. When we come back from this break, I want to talk about that just a bit before we get into some more of the substantive stuff, which is the actual bands and when they're going to be playing and that kind of thing. But I'd like to touch on that and kind of discuss some of the benefits just in the interaction and meeting other folks. And I think you have, Darrell, and I have too. Ray has, I'm sure, is witnessed some of that with people showing up and, you know, having their children or grandchildren or meeting family there and just feeling not only safe, but in an area where folks are concerned with each other, where there's literally, I need to knock on wood, just a wonderful environment.
It's fellowship.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to take a break and we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We're talking about events coming up this spring in Sampson County, Clinton, North Carolina, that will entertain you and you need to be a part of. We'll be back in a moment.
To get the most out of your electronic devices, you need a strong internet connection and a protected home Wi-Fi network. You need high-speed internet from Star. Star has the fastest, most affordable high-speed internet service available for all your devices. We have no long-term contracts or high-pressure sales. Our service speaks for itself, and switching is hassle-free. We take care of everything with free installation from a local company. High-speed internet from Star. Internet at the speed of light.
Bill?
What bill?
The Star Communications bill.
No worries, honey. With Star's paperless billing and automatic draft system, I get a notification sent right to my phone. There's no need to be bothered with those paper statements, and our bill is paid on time every month.
Well, that's easy and convenient.
It sure is, honey.
Honey?
Yes, dear.
The baby.
Oh, right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Again, my name is J.W. Simmons. We Should Know is on there. We're talking about exciting events and activities coming up this spring. Even we're going to talk about a winter event is labeled at, if there is such a thing right now. Darrell Jones and Ray Jordan, thank you for taking time to be here and talk about this. We're trying to get as much information out as we can this year. The Live After 5 event continues to grow. I would say it's not a good word, so I won't use it, but it continues to grow exponentially. And that's a great thing, but I think it's attributed to a lot of the folks that you guys bring in here that a lot of people may never, and I say this with some reservation, but they may never have the opportunity to see because they're not going to drive somewhere else to see it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's...
So when I look at the lineup this year, and you've got them staged, I think, in a good way, the other thing I think you've done is you've left out a couple of months, which is the hottest months, recognizing that there are folks that probably just not going to get out there. As you mentioned, Ray, it's a hot pavement area. So let's just kind of walk through these by date, and we can talk about the dates a little bit, and both you guys can comment on it.
You want to hit the first couple?
Either one of you.
Okay. Well, Jim Quick is going to be our first concert in May. I think it's May 16th, Thursday night. As the information on the website tells you, that the music starts at about 5:15 with the DJ Robert Stroud, and the band takes to stage at 6 o'clock. Jim Quick is a very, very popular group. They come in there with his Coastline Band, and he's got some #1 songs on the beach music charts. He's well known throughout, I would say, the East Coast pretty much.
And he's also an on-air DJ at a Myrtle Beach radio station.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
He's done some stuff in Tennessee too, I think.
Yes, it sure has. Been out in Nashville recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're a very popular group to come in for our first concert. So we will really start off our season with a very good band. Next on the list is Smoking Hot. That's Gary Louder and the Smoking Hot Band. We've never had them here before, but they are a very popular band throughout the East Coast. And even Gary Louder has been recognized, I believe it was for 2021 Singer of the Year. So we've got a very popular group coming in with Gary Louder and Smoking Hot for the first time. So that should be very entertaining for the people to come out and see.
And JW, that concert was Gary Louder and Smoking Hot will be on June 22nd. Then we're taking a break for July and August to hopefully beat the heat, and we'll come back in September 21st with a band that we've had a lot of people asking us to bring them, and so it'll be first time again, is the Blackwater Band. And when I was looking at their online song list and their information, they play obviously some beach music, but the biggest thing is all of these bands are variety bands.
Yeah.
So they're gonna play some of everything. But what was unique when I was looking at their song list, we can kind of pick and choose, say, we'd like for you to do these. So we're going to try to make sure that all of these, we have a very diverse song choice, or it may be covers or whatever, but that's going to be good. Then, in October, they've been here with us every year since we started Alive After 5, and they really need no introduction. Yeah. It's the Band of Oz. I mean, they're known everywhere, and their music, they're known for beach music, but as you've seen the concerts over and over, they play everything under the sun, from Bruno Mars to Zach Brown, and then everything in between. Yeah. And they just had some reorganization with their band members, and they're sounding great. And one thing, JW, historically, we've presented 5 events. Mm-hmm. So this year we're presenting 4, May, June, August, September, October. Mm-hmm. Then we are going to take a little break and do something a little bit differently. So this year our committee decided that we were going to join forces with the City of Clinton on their Christmas in the City. So on November 30th, we're going to present a free public concert at the City Market, weather provided. We don't get rained out or something. It will be Christmas with the Embers. Last year we had that show at the Expo Center. We sold out 325 seats to the show at $20 a ticket. So this year we said, let's do something with this to make that event a little bit bigger. And our whole thing was that hopefully we can help put people in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
So that's right. So it'll be a concert. If we have inclement weather, it will be held at the Expo Center, and it will still be free to the public. And on that one, if we do move indoors for that one, we'll have chairs set up on the floor level, so folks won't have to bring them that night. Right. But we're hopeful that we have great weather that night. And then I'll tell you, the next Thursday night after that event, I think it's the first Thursday in December. Right now, this Christmas in the City Committee, they're going to have some special surprises that you'll hear more about. So that's the lineup for Alive After 5, and we're very excited about it, and we're thankful for the committee. The committee consists of Cody Smith, Darrell Jones, Carol Donatelli, Steve Tanner, Ross Kimbrough, yourself, and me. And we're very thankful. If anyone would like to join our committee, we'd love to have some members. And Darrell and I, by the end of the night, we're pretty much dragging, so we could certainly use some new members to help the day of the event, but also with soliciting and helping us continue to raise the funds necessary to keep the season going.
Darrell, Ray mentioned something. I want to follow up with you on the Embers of Christmas in the City, the November 30 thing. That was something that was kind of a unanimous agreement on, that this would be a good thing, because it gives folks, again, something right in the middle of that holiday season that they can be and go to. They don't have to drive to Myrtle Beach. They don't have to drive to Raleigh or get caught in traffic jams and all that. Right here in Sampson County, Clinton, North Carolina, brought literally to their back door.
This is true. Teaming up with the downtown committee for the decorations and all, and providing the Embers concert for Christmas. I mean, think about it. You're going to have a bunch of kids that's going to be down there. They're going to be looking for some more entertainment. And the Embers, they don't play beach music. They play Christmas music.
Right. Yeah.
Every bit of it's Christmas music. So don't come expecting to hear one of their popular songs. You're going to hear Christmas music. And what a way to kick off the Christmas season by having that concert by the Embers.
And Ray, to your point, oftentimes in November, especially with this climate change issue, we've got easily mid-70s going on, and if the weather prevails, it'll be perfect, because you'll have less humidity. It'll be later in the evening, the clocks turn back or whatever it does, and you've got just that atmosphere.
And last year's event, Christmas City, drew a great crowd. I think there were over 4,000 people came out, and for the tree lighting and all the other activities. So, there's a lot of work to make these things happen, and a lot of people working behind the scenes all the time to promote our city and county, and we appreciate what they do.
Darrell, you mentioned something, I think in maybe our first segment, it caused me to think about this. You've got to have really a good servant's heart to be able to get out and do this kind of thing. I mean, sometimes I think about what you guys do and others, and I look at it and go, you're giving a lot of your time. You're giving a lot of your conscious effort. I mean, let's face it, you could be anywhere you wanted to doing whatever, but you and others step up and go, well, we're going to go down there and do this to make sure other people have a great time.
It's just a way of...
There's a lot to be said about that.
This is true, but I enjoy it, and I think our committee members really enjoy it as well. They like seeing all the people. I look at it as serving the community. I've done different things with the city and when I was employed, and I'm all about people. I've always been about people, and I just enjoy serving the people of Clinton and Sampson County to where they can come out and have a fun-filled, family-friendly, free concert, and it's just a good feeling. Now, at the end of the night, yes, I'm tired. But that's what I'll echo, that we need members. Yes, we need more members. We need people to come out and that can don't mind pointing the finger, say, hey, put your stuff here, take that over there. That part is not hard. In fact, none of it's hard. It's just you got to have a little bit of time, a little bit of energy about you to want to be able to do that and serve the people of Clinton and Sampson County.
It'd be good to have some heavy lifters. I think sometimes I'm reflecting here. You and I've been in that situation. But the reality is if there are folks that may be willing to, say, Darrell, I'll give you a hand doing whatever, and talent in doing that. I guess I will refer to a conversation I recall us having about tying a knot. It's good to have somebody can tie a knot occasionally. That's right. And those kinds of things that seem to be simple for some folks, but not that much for others, right?
Well, and one thing, JW, all across our county, there's nonprofits working, and there have been for years and years. But if people really stop and reflect on the things that have had impact, think about back to the days of the Clinton JCs. The first recreation park that was bought that the city of Clinton operated was Fisher Drive. That was founded and started by the Clinton JCs. Wow. So a lot of things that happen in our community can happen where, I heard it expressed this way, the best way to create something new is to have is where the public and private sector intersect. Then you can have growth opportunities. So we encourage folks to volunteer for something, to get out and support these things, because they are vitally important in our community.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to do a wrap on this conversation, and I encourage folks to stay with us, because we're probably going to touch on some things that if they decide to turn the channel or change the radio to somewhere else, they're probably going to miss some interesting points here. But some things I want to circle back to, some other things I think you guys maybe have that you want to speak to that we hadn't got to yet. But it all is going to be about things that they might be excited about, that they will be entertained with. And Darrell, I'll use this term, they'll find joy from. So we'll be back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking with Ray Jordan, and we're talking with Darrell Jones about Live After 5 and other events around Sampson County, but particularly some of the events that's coming up this spring that you'll be enjoying. Be back in a moment.
Just because something may work doesn't mean it's right for your business. Let Star Communications' knowledgeable consultants help you customize a hosted voice system that's right for you. Our dedicated experts work with you to understand your business needs and guide you at every step, from choosing and installing services to ongoing maintenance and support. Contact Star today.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home. And we strive to provide the best communications services. Star is committed to improving communications to all our service areas, because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. Star Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming on the last segment of the show today. It's called We Should Know. I'm J.W. Simmons, your host. I want to thank you for the emails you sent, for reaching out to us via snail mail. The email address is weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. That's weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And also, if you want to send us a card, a brief letter, or a comment to kind of help us maybe look at something we hadn't thought about, that's Post Office Box 1482, Clinton, North Carolina. Post Office Box 1482, Clinton, North Carolina. You can just address it WSK or We Should Know. We'll be more than happy to respond, and also enjoy seeing people out in the community, and they'll call me and say, hey, have you thought about doing so and so? Sometimes I get the obvious questions. Why didn't you ask this? We tell you all the time, we can't cover all the things that we want to get in. It sounds like a lot of time, but these 4 segments, it's all over with very quick. Today, we're talking about exciting stuff, things you'll enjoy, that's going to be near and dear to your heart, things that will help you remember things that are fond to you. And guys, music does that. And Live After 5, Darrell Jones and Ray Jordan, you guys put a lot of time into this, and it causes people to reflect. It gives them time to think. I remember that moment. And Darrell, something you alluded to, and all of a sudden they look, and that moment that they remember 20 years ago or 15 years ago may just come walking up.
That's correct.
And that's even more exciting.
It is.
And it's an old friend. It's somebody you knew, from my generation, which is probably dips back way far, may be somebody from Williams Lake. and that goes back many years ago. But the idea is it's just fun. And that's where we're going. Ray, you've got some things coming up here in addition to Live After 5 that I want you to touch on.
We do, JW, and thank you. So this is separate from a Live After 5, but it goes in the same vein as having a great event for a great cause. Mm-hmm. So on Saturday, March 25th, the Expo Center is sponsoring or presenting the Winter Dance Party, and this will feature the Band of Oz. This event is an event that helps us raise funds for our Class Acts Endowment Fund, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Mm-hmm. But the Class Acts Endowment let me start with Class Acts. Class Acts is a program that's presented and marketed by the Expo Center, and it brings 8,000 school students to our facility each year to see a free performing arts event at no cost to the students or the school systems. So that's the endowment is essentially that to build funds if we have a gap, or if we need to fill a whole void somewhere if we don't meet our annual campaign. Mm-hmm. So the endowment, the Winter Dance Party is taking that spot. The Band of Oz is $62.50 per person. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing it includes. This year we're having catering provided by South Catering and Southern Smoke Barbecue, a great dinner menu. All this can be found online at sampsoncenterstage.com. I won't get into all the details, but someone says, well, that's an expensive ticket, but you're getting 6 o'clock, we're opening the doors, 6:30 or 6 to 6:30 past hors d'oeuvres, dinner buffet from 6:30 to 7:30, band from 8 to 11:30. Great concert. It'll be decorated beautiful, and all the funds raised over that will go to the Class Acts Endowment. And we're scheduled to have a very few live auction items to help support that.
It sounds like to me that people are paying for dinner and they're getting the rest of it free.
Exactly, exactly. That's a great way to look at it.
Talk about fringe benefits.
And the tickets are on sale online, or you can call the Sampson Center Stage box office at 592-7200, and I know you'll have those numbers up on the website. So that's the first event we got coming up. March 25th, don't forget, Winter Dance Party featuring the Band of Oz. And JW, the next thing I'd like to touch base with you on is our 2023 school year Class Acts programs. And as I mentioned earlier, the Class Acts programs, that whole series is now in its it started in 2001. And other than COVID, we've presented each year, and we've now impacted 143,000, just a hair over 143,000 students and teachers have come to the Expo Center for free to see a live performing arts production that would be of regional, state, or national acclaim. So we've had some great concerts over the years. This year, we're getting ready to kick off our annual campaign. There'll be a big mailing going out. There'll be a way you can support this online. And this is totally funded through donations to this program. And Like Alive After 5, Class Acts has been funded for 21 years, or we have 22 years now, strictly from donations.
Wow.
So people believe in the program, and when you tell them that all the kids in all the schools get to come for free, they'll break out their checkbook. They're willing to support that because it's for everyone.
Right. So it's just looking at it from a personal perspective, is it highly likely that some of these kids would never experience that if you didn't do it?
And that's why we started it. Well, back in 2001, there was two reasons we started it. One was we felt like, well, one, they were busing kids all everywhere in the state to go see things. I'm like, why can't we do that here? And then the second thing is you're doing this presenting, and now we can do it for free. So we're saving the school's money, saving the kids' money, and then there's oftentimes in schools where you have field trips where a child may can't afford the activity fee to go. So in essence, we're covering that. And this year we got some great shows lined up, and the first one, all these shows will take place of the week of April 25th through the 28th. In 1 week, we do 2 school shows each day.
8,000 students is a lot of students.
Different artists each day for 4 days. So the first, on April 25th, we're having the Billy Jonas Trio, and Billy's music is based on using recycled products, or like trash cans and water bottles, all these things to make music. And he'll have a trio with him. We presented him before, and he did an outstanding job. And he is recognized as a premier student programming presenter. The next artist will be on Wednesday, the 26th, and this is the Zach Morgan Trio. And again, this is all kids music. And Zach is he's been compared to Shel Silverstein and Dr. Seuss, somewhere in between. And he's a Grammy nominee for his children's music, very family friendly, and kids will see that in grades 1 and 2. Then on Thursday, we're presenting a show called The Beast. And I know you've heard of Nina Freelon. This is her son Pierce and his group, and it's a program called African American Music from Spirituals to Hip Hop. This performance is for 7th and 8th grades. So that's going to be another great show. And then to round out the week, we're having the Transit Vocal Band, who's an a cappella band out of the Raleigh-Durham area. We've had them before. They'll be presenting to the 5th and 6th grade. So all that's going to happen in 1 week. A big mailer will go out. And you can also support and become a sponsor online at SampsonCenterStage.com for that. So that's a lot to talk about.
That's a lot, and we're going to try to, I'll tell folks, we're going to try to get that posted for you on the TV channel so you can actually look at it. And if you have questions, you can always call your office at
592 910-592-6451 is our administrative number. And if you're calling for tickets, call the box office at 910-592-7200. But the Class Acts is all funded by strictly donations. And JW, I know we're running short on time, so I'm going to tell you about one that just came up. Literally, we booked the concert today. We'll be presenting Charlie Lowry and Friends. And so this will be a concert presented on Tuesday night,
April 25th,
at the Expo Center, and it'll be presented by the Sampson Center Stage Performing Arts Series and the Sampson Arts Council are the presenters that night. Charlie was she attended UNC Pembroke. She's appeared on American Idol. It was in the top 32 finalists in that section in 2004. She's got a four-piece band that will be with her that night, and it will feature Mark McKinney and Company, who's a duo consisting of Mark McKinney and Jonathan Locklear, as well as Aaron Locklear, who was the original drummer for Dark Water Rising. And they'll be performing original music as well as performing covers. So we're very excited about that. Tickets are online now. You can buy them. I did that before I got here. So look forward to that. Tickets are $16 for adults, $12 for kids, and it's going to be a great night. It's a lot to talk about, isn't it?
Darrell, I think we can say that you're only going to hear it here. Was that a good?
Live and in person.
There you go, live and in person, and you heard it here
and
first.
We should know.
And I think the reality of this is it's an amazing. The information we've just pushed forward is an amazing amount of information and opportunity for people to just have a good time, relax, whatever's going on in your life. Enjoy the people around you, enjoy the music and the entertainment. But for our children, it causes me to reflect back to those days, years and decades ago, when there was something called the saltine players or whatever it was in school. Somebody will correct me on that, by the way. But those things were literally the exposure folks got to the arts, and it benefits people throughout their life. So you're starting them on a good track. I personally want to thank you for everything you do, both you guys, and also encourage people to reach out, call you, talk to you. Darrell, I know they do you that with that on the street. They'll stop and talk to you about something, but reach out and let these people know. And if you have a question or comment, call the number that's been given out. Also, this will be on the TV screen. Obviously, we can't put it on the television screen, but the TV side is going to pick up on this, and we're going to be there and support you any way we can. And again, thank you, and I'm thanking you from personally and from everybody in the community. So appreciate what you do.
Thank you, JD. Thanks for having us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being with us today, and there's been a lot of things that's been mentioned. We encourage you to watch the show, look at some of the credits and information that's going to be posted on there. Also, reach out to Ray and you call that number if you need any more information, or you can go online and that'll be posted as well. So we look forward to seeing you again next week right here, and may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.